Thank you, Madam Chair. Again, thank all of you all for being here, and I really do appreciate your hard work. Ms. Trottenberg, with the huge shortfalls in the Highway Trust Fund, there is broad agreement that we must make our infrastructure investments more efficient. I also serve on the EPW committee, and in MAP 21, Chairman Boxer, Ranking Member Inhofe worked with members to take a balanced and thoughtful approach to project delivery reforms. Our bill contained numerous provisions designed to increase innovation, improve efficiency, effectiveness, and accountability in the planning, design, and engineering, construction, and financing of the transportation projects. Expediting project delivery is one area where we can make significant improvements. MAP 21's measured and bipartisan NEPA reforms are a step in the right direction, I believe. According to the IG of DOT, DOT has not set any deadlines for the implementation of MAP 21's critical NEPA reforms. Is there a reason that the department has not established the deadlines for this important responsibility under the law?
Well, I thank you, Senator, and I want to note we agree that that MAP 21 has provided us with a lot of good ways of improving project delivery, speeding up the permitting process, looking at a lot of innovations and at performance measures, and that is an area that the Obama administration was working on even prior to the passage of MAP 21. We've created a interagency task force essentially to try and speed up the transportation permitting process and get a lot of those permits from different agencies like the Army Corps and Fish and Wildlife to move concurrently. And I think one thing Administrator Mendez testified about a little earlier before you came in is that we've actually gotten some of those categorical exclusions already out and operating, and the Skagit River Bridge has taken advantage of now that you can get a categorical exclusion to rebuild when there's been an emergency. So I think we've got some of them out, and I do believe I'm going to turn to the administrator here. I think we do have some deadlines on some of the upcoming ones. So I'm not quite sure that your information is accurate.
When is it going to get done?
Yes, sir. We actually, I think what I read in the report that you're referring to is that I believe what they're referring to is that we don't have interim deadlines. You know, we do have a schedule in place for all of the various activities under MAP 21 that need to be accomplished, either through rulemaking or guidance and things like that. We do have targets for that. We internally have some internal targets that are not public, and I believe that may be what they were referring to, that we don't have those interim deadlines, but we in fact do have them.
So can you make them public now? When are the NEPA reforms going to get?
Well, there's several of them. I think probably best if maybe we can coordinate with you and send you a list of, because there's multiple elements to what you're asking about.
And again, I appreciate it. I've been, we've all been fighting this battle for years. I mean, this is not the first time that this administration or the former administrations have realized, that we've got a problem. In your testimony, Ms. Trottenberg, you talk about by the end of 2014, the Highway Trust Fund will be nearly depleted. We all understand that. We've already transferred $54 billion over from the General Taxpayer Fund. We'll need an additional $85 billion in general funds over the next 6 years just to keep the program afloat at current levels, which is important because, as you point out with the bonding and this and that, the states are depending on current levels so that they can pay those bills back. But I think we all agree, and again, Senator Inhofe, Senator Boxer disagree on a whole bunch of stuff. This is something that our committee, this is something that I think almost every member of Congress, not to circumvent the environmental challenges, but to get the agencies talking together at the same time and get this done is really important. Now, can you all tell me what percentage of project costs are associated with environmental compliance delay, not doing the right thing, but making a decision?
Yeah,
how much is that costing our projects?
We've spent a lot of time looking at this question, Senator, and I think one thing that is worth remembering, although it often doesn't seem apparent, is the vast majority of transportation projects qualify for categorical exclusions or they qualify for environmental assessments, a much sort of lower level of environmental work. That said, there are some pretty big and complicated projects where environmental work can take up a lot of time. And I think we've tried to do our best to analyze what's happened there, and that's part of why we've created, again, within our administration, an interagency what we call the rapid response team to try and untangle some of the issues. I'll give you one that we've discovered because it's very relevant to this discussion on bridges. The Coast Guard used to be a part of the Department of Transportation. It's now part of the Department of Homeland Security. One of the Coast Guard's primary legislative mandates is to ensure that they maintain as many navigable waterways as they can for boats of as large a size as they can. This can often be a conflict that we have in terms of we're responsible for building bridges, building them quickly and building them in the most cost-effective way possible. Well, those two mandates can often be in conflict, and I think one thing we've discovered around the country is we were in a lot of conflict on a lot of bridge building projects. I can think of one in Senator Murray's state. So one of the things we've done, Administrator Mendez sent one of his top bridge engineers over to be actually embedded, and he could talk about this, with the Army Corps to try and help untangle what are some pretty deep-seated and complicated holdups on some of these projects.
Well, let me just reiterate, because you weren't here when I said this. In case you're not aware, I used to be a state DOT director in Arizona, so I've been on the delivery end. And one of the frustrations.
And so you understand that.
Absolutely.
The statement about, and again, I'm not being argumentative, but I don't know how long the average major project takes now, but it's many years. And many of those years are involved with this process. And I think we all agree, and I know that you, unless your state is very different than my state, that you've been very frustrated with the process. And unless something has changed dramatically, which I don't think it has, and yet this law would help change it significantly, it's still taking a very, very long time in your state to get things done.
Yeah, we have implemented, since I've been here, an innovation initiative. We call it Everyday Counts. My goal under Everyday Counts was to cut project delivery by half, and then to also utilize technology and innovation to move our delivery process forward. If you look at what happened within MAP 21, you all provided some very good directives for us to implement to address the issue that you're talking about. For example, you have once again provided the option for states to actually take responsibility for the NEPA process. California did it, and the last time we checked, I believe they were saying that they have actually, through a few projects that they've done under that process, they've saved anywhere between 18 to 21 months. Texas, we're working with them very closely. We believe they will be the next state to actually come on board with that concept. So we're doing everything we can to address exactly what you're talking about. We need to streamline the delivery process and maintain the environmental protections that are important for all of us. And I do want to say, going back to what Polly was talking about, the rapid response team, bringing all of those federal agencies together, we were able to get the permit for the Tappan Zee Bridge in New York in less than a year. That could never have happened if we had done it the normal process as you're describing. So we're doing everything we can. President Obama has issued about 3 executive orders on permitting, project delivery, and eliminating rules and regulations that inhibit the delivery process for infrastructure. So we're doing everything we can to implement not only what you directed us to do under MAP 21, but also administratively a lot of things that we're doing under innovation to move the projects forward.
Good. Thank you, Madam Chair. Could we, as a committee, because I really do think that's, that this is important in the sense of moving with reforms, could we ask that we have a report, on meeting the deadlines of MAP 21, which, are in the bill in the sense of the reforms?
Okay, I will explore with my staff and see what the best way of getting that information is.
Again, like I say, we're concentrating on bridges and things. When you look at the reports, the infrastructure is terrible, throughout the country, and yet with the fiscal crisis, we simply have to identify ways that I think we all agree on, that can lessen the cost, as we go forward. And I think this is an important thing. So, again, I'd just like to know, kind of the implementation dates of the law, and just making sure that we're getting that done. And then if we need to be of help, in getting that sorted out, what can we do as a committee to help you get the information that you need or the resources to get it done? Thank you.